Good job today, man. One at a time, and we'll get the job done. Y'all know what to say. On three. 1, 2, 3.
And the home of the Jets.
Good evening, everybody. Let's talk Jets on a Monday night following a great, exciting victory on Saturday. And we had technical difficulties to start off the show, which is not a good sign. Bubs, what's up, man?
Tyson, thanks for having me back on. Yes, victory Sunday, victory Monday, but some tech issues, but we're all right. Appreciate everybody joining in and looking forward to diving into it. Aaron Glenn 1-0 in the preseason, so a lot of positives from Saturday night.
It's exciting, man, because it was all this buildup. You have the training camp, you have the physical practices, all this hard work, attention to detail. But it's like, all right, does it translate to the field on game day? Even though it's we always had that caveat. It's only the first game of the preseason. But listen, this is a statement to say, this is what we're all about. This is our standard. This is our building block as we want to move forward. And it's so funny. You sit down, like crack open a beer, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be great. First play of the game's a penalty. I'm like, no way. I'm like, offsides first play. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And I'm like, let's not do this again. You know what I mean? Like this, we can't go through this. But then the Jets cycled in. But I mean, overall, it's exciting, man, because you saw so many good things. We'll go over all that. We'll go to calls. But, I mean, let's start with this. Let's start with the coaching, where, to me, it's like things just seem different, dude. This team seemed prepared. They seem like they were very well coached. They were organized. There's a level of accountability. There was 10 penalties. We understand that. But Aaron Glenn addressed it. When the player walked up the field, boom. When Michael Clemens did his stupid stuff, which he always does, boom, take out. Like, there's a different sense with this team where, like, they know what they have to do now. It's like there's no disorganization, and it just felt different, dude. Did it for you too, or no?
Yeah, no, it was great to watch. And you obviously mentioned, the penalty that happened on the first play. And then you had a couple of those late hits by Eric Watson, even Marcelino McCrary ball. But it's so refreshing to see him take those guys off the field, take Clemens off the field. It wouldn't be a Jets football game with Michael Clemens not trying to fight somebody. But it's refreshing to see those guys being held accountable. And we've even seen that too in training camp, where those guys have been held accountable when they're, whether it's just having the refs at practice, number one, but also using those as teaching moments and talking to the players when they have a holding penalty or a false start, whatever it might be. We mentioned it I think it might have been the green and white, or maybe it was another practice I was at. I don't think it was the green and white, but first team offense was struggling. They had a couple penalties to the point where Glenn pulled them off the field. And you saw that in the game as well. You had him ripping into Marcelino McCrary ball. I was very happy that the TV picked that up. That clip has gone viral all over Jets Twitter, because it's finally, we're seeing that. Saleh, all he would do is just sit there with his arms crossed, let all these penalties happen, let all this undisciplined football kind of just go by the wayside and do nothing about it. And it just killed them in games. And in just game number one, you saw, just the preseason game, you saw that change with Glenn taking Watson ball off the field, taking Clemens off the field as well. And even to give some credit to, and I'm sure we'll get into it, like Jay Tufele, he was able to bounce back. He had the penalty early on, but was able to have a huge game. And that's something too that you want to see out of this team as well, where you have a penalty, you handle a little bit of adversity, be able to bounce back and turn, the rest of the game into a positive, which he was able to do. I really like what I saw from Engstrand. I know a lot of the concepts are still a bit vanilla, but I thought there was a couple of plays that I really liked, getting guys into space, scheming guys open a bit, making a couple easy throws, creating a couple easy throws rather for Fields. So that was positive. But yeah, it's only preseason, but a lot to like from an accountability standpoint, a preparation standpoint. They looked like they were ready to play a football game.
100%.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think you can't be you got to be happy with the results on Saturday.
You look at it, first-time head coach, first-time coordinator on offense, a new quarterback, all these new pieces. Like, they're going to be disorganized. It's going to be a complete chaos. This team just looked prepared, whether it was Fields, whether it was Cook, whether it was Martinez. They all, like, the offense looked like they had a rhyme or reason. They knew what the hell they were doing. offensive line. Like, I love the physical approach this team takes on both sides of the ball, special teams. It did just, and like we talked about Aaron Glenn, like, dude, he's involved in everything. Offense, like the thing with Parcells way back in the day was Parcells wore the headset because he wanted to know the play calls for both sides of the ball. If he had power to override it or not agree, like, listen, don't call that play, do this. He's involved in everything, dude. And it's good because you want your CEO type head coach. He's that. He can hold the offense accountable, the defense accountable. And the thing is, what set the tone for me, which was a statement for me, was Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner played with a tremendous amount of intensity, tenacity. It's like, all right, you know what? These young players look up to Sauce and Quinn Williams and Garrett. And when you have these guys raising the bar for the team, like, listen, this is how this is our standard now. We always talk about the Ravens being physical or the Steelers or Bills or wherever else. Now this is the Jets having their own pride and passion and saying, like, you know, you're not going to push us around anymore. We're not going to be a soft team. We may not be the most talented team, but you're not pushing us around. And Sauce Gardner set the tone, dude. He literally did. Like, wow, who is this guy? Yeah. We like last year, like, oh, is he becoming? But he got his payday. But he's fully vested. Like, this team, they've embraced Aaron Glenn's passion. They've embraced his pride. Like, you know, we're all in this together, and we're tired of fucking losing, right? That's what they look like. They're really fully vested now, and I love it. So from the coaching perspective, it was great. Engstrand encouraging. Again, it's vanilla play calling. We understand that. You're not, you know, but you saw, like, to me, I'm an offensive line guy. You want to see how they're pushing the guys around. You have Membu, rookie. You have Olu, year 2, but he's still very young though. And then the thing was interesting was he had Myers at center and Tippmann at guard, which was a curveball too. Like, all right, how did they handle that? They weren't overwhelmed. They played. It's just, I'm like, all right, now we have a vision that we can see. You know, I'm not saying, you know, playoffs and like that, but you said this is your building block. Build on it this week against the Giants. You know, keep let the preseason getting better, and then something to look forward to. Like, I literally enjoyed watching that. Even like the third stringers, fourth stringers. I'm like, this is fun because now the Jets have an identity now. You know what they're trying to establish.
Yeah, no, we talked about it last week, how sometimes you get into the late preseason games and it gets ugly and it gets boring, but that wasn't the case. All 4 quarters was a lot of fun. They looked prepared. They looked ready to roll. And yeah, Sauce, I think you were spot on there. 2 passes defended. He also had the 1 tackle as well to keep him shy of the sticks. Like, to see that out of your star player, to see that on the first drive, forget just first preseason game, first couple of plays, they looked his way. To see him respond immediately, make those plays coming off the big payday, and he's had a strong training camp as well, which you would expect. But to see that in a game is huge as well. These guys want to be taught. They want to be coached. They want to be held accountable. They don't want that country club environment. They don't want what's taken place the last couple of years. They want to be coached and to be led by Glenn, who's a former player, of course, but even some of these other guys, a former player, have been in their shoes. And yeah, you mentioned even the backup offensive line. They looked good. Donovan Edwards, I'm sure we'll get to him. He had a heck of a game, and he could have had even more with the 70-yard touchdown getting called back, which was unfortunate. But yeah, all phases of the game, special teams as well. Stigger's making plays. It was great.
To your point, though, the offensive line was my biggest concern, where you have Steve Hyden, a tight end coach. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you have a first-time offensive coordinator in the NFL, and you have Steve Hyden, a first-time line coach. You're like, oh. But you heard Glenn talk about the familiarity with Detroit. They know each other, and it's all about compatibility. Can these guys be compatible coaching staff where they can accentuate each other's strengths? And even that was encouraging. All right, maybe they actually know what the hell they're doing for once, which was great. So we go up and we got the whole super checks. I got to address this one. I get this message so many times, man. Y'all need to chill. It's the preseason. You can't evaluate anything from this game. Y'all were talking the same way last year. That's not true. I'm not getting my hopes up until the real games start. Love the show. First of all, thank you for the super chat. To me, I'm not walking away saying the Jets are a playoff team. We're trying to see what Aaron Glenn's identity is. Are these players bought in? Are they going to be physical? Are they well prepared? Things we just talked about. So to me, this is a building block. If they go out and lay a dud next week against the Giants, all right, maybe we got to, we're trying to evaluate with the process of this team, because we looked at last preseason, Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers are catching, they're doing everything great together. Started and they played like shit. So to me, it's an early impression of the team. We're all excited about football season, and it was great. So you go, Justin Fields starts the game, which we both thought was a really good idea. Get him on the field, get this offense on there. Anxious on the sideline. Dude, Fields looked like he was familiar with the offense. He felt he was in command, in and out of huddle. Went through his reads, got the 2 passes to the back, and that rushing touchdown, dude. You're just sitting back and smiling. That's what he can do when things break down, and that was exciting. So like his early taste with the Jets and this offense was encouraging as hell, man.
Yeah, no, it was good. And again, credit to Engstrand scheming some of those guys open, getting back into space. I think he's definitely making this team, and I think that preseason game certainly showed more of that. I mean, if he can turn into a bit more of a pass catching threat, that's huge on top of the fullback and the run blocking that you hope he brings as well, in terms of the jumbo packages and when you're looking at this team being a run first offense. But yeah, Fields looked comfortable. He had the pass to Tyler Johnson, had the 2 passes to Beck, and yeah, the touchdown, that was exactly what we've seen from him. That's exactly what you love to see out of Justin Fields. And also on that play, Isaiah Davis with the incredibly high IQ to pretend to fake out the Packers corner, to pretend that the ball was coming his way to give Fields a little bit more space. But those are the things, right, when you're evaluating training camp practices that you can't always tell with Fields, the mobility when he's able to take off. And that's where in a game, you're really able to evaluate him much more because he was able to take off, had time, but saw a lane and took it to the house. In the camp practices, it's tough sometimes to tell how far he is and how far he's actually going to run, just because, it's the non-contact. And even too, there's certainly probably a lot of times in training camp where they're telling him, hey, stay in the pocket, let the play develop, don't rush. But in a game, that's obviously different, and you saw that. So yeah, it was perfect first drive for the offense. You went down and scored, and it was headlined by the quarterback, 10 plays, 79 yards. It was a positive. You had the Braylon Allen run as well on top, just another big plus to the run game.
Well, that's something I want to talk about. So we go quarterback, we'll go running backs. And to me, it's like, we know the Jets want to be ground and pound. They want to play physical, nasty football behind that offensive line, run the ball. Brees starts. And to me, it's like, I said this last year, I'm being consistent. I don't hate on Brees. I think he showed great things before his injury. Yeah. Since then, he's been very inconsistent. Braylon Allen just seems different, dude. He seems like he's more explosive. He's more aggressive. He gets more yards, after contact. Brees, whether it's his vision, not seeing the holes, not being too aggressive, whatever it is, he just seems like he's out of sync right now. I think he's healthy. Like last year, the reasoning was he had a hurt knee towards the end of the season. That was kind of hindering him. He probably should have took himself out, but he wanted to play for his teammates. Now it's like everybody's fresh. Braylon Allen looks like a powerhouse back there. And it just, the offense just seems different with him. It does. The chain's always moving with him, where Brees is still, I get this feeling, I've been wrong a million times before. Brees may be the bigger asset in the passing game than the running game, and you may see more Braylon Allen running the ball. I think that's, as the season plays out, I think it may happen. And I see all these things, trade Brees, get rid of him. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think it's his last year as a Jet anyway. But Braylon just seems different, dude.
Yeah, I'm on board, and I totally agree with you there. I don't think they're going to trade him, nor am I really on board with trading him. Don't just become thinner at the position. You have a 3-headed monster. Being utilized more as that pass catcher, and Braylon more as that just thumper number 1 running back in it. Because I think too, when you look at this Jets offense and the way that it's structured, I think you're looking at Garrett leading the way in targets, Brees probably number 2, Mason Taylor 3, and then probably Reynolds, your wide receiver 2, being 4th. That's at least kind of the layout how it was in Detroit. And I could see Engstrand doing that similar here with the Jets. So that adds on to the receiving point that you made. But yeah, I mean, Braylon, he just has that ability and the vision to hit the hole hard and just get to another level. And when you have that massive 6'2", whatever, I think he's 6'2", 6'1", 235 pounds, whatever he is, that monster coming at you. It's tough to bring down. And his visions, I just think, is so impressive as well. And that's been something that has been a little disappointing with Brees. I mean, even on Saturday, it feels like there was a hole to his right on one of his runs, and he kind of just ran into the defense. Braylon, no, the vision, the ability to hold is.
Yeah, and the other thing too is I think you're breaking up a little bit, but I agree with you. The other thing too is you have Brees was doing, Brees is Brees. We don't, once the season starts, maybe he comes out and he plays great. Yeah, Brown, Isaiah Davis is shifty. There's a lot of really good things. Then you have Donovan Edwards, where you're like, all right, that should have been a touchdown. It was a horrible call. And I think he got screwed in the call, but he looked good too. But the thing is you don't do anything now because you still have the rest of training camp, the rest of preseason. Injuries always happen. So there's no saying cut this guy, trade this guy, whatever else. But then it's with Donovan Edwards, it's can you really keep 4 running backs? Because if you want to keep Beck at tight end or fullback, whatever you want to call him, there's you almost have it's a luxury item having 4 running backs, in my opinion. So you like what Beck brings to the table because he's great target, can block, can catch. But then Edwards, like, what do you do there? Like, 4 running backs is going to be tough to keep. I think you froze again, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you're frozen.
You know?
You're better now, I think.
My internet's a little choppy, I think, tonight. All right. Yeah, but no, I heard what you're saying. I think I could hear you. I'm just choppy, I think. But no, yeah, I mean, I agree with the 4 running backs. It's tough, especially if you're going to keep Kene Nwangu around as your kick returner. He essentially slots in also as that 4th guy, but really just the kick returner. And then obviously you have your front 3. I'd love to keep Donovan Edwards around, find a way. You mentioned Beck as well. He holds up a roster spot there at fullback, which is tough numbers wise. I think if Donovan Edwards would be able to carve out a role for himself on special teams, that's his path. My biggest concern, though, is that they're going to let him get away. He's definitely more of a productive winner than Nwangu, but Nwangu is your kick returner. Edwards really hasn't been back much, so that's the tough when you get to the numbers game.
If numbers game is like, you got to kind of mix between the running backs, the fullback, and tight end. So to me, as of today, August 11th, Rutgers been a disappointment. So you have Mason Taylor, who's banged up with a high ankle sprain. Don't know how long he's going to be out. Then you have Rutgers, really not showing a lot. Maybe he's a good blocker, but the passing game is pretty much invisible. Stone Smart had the touchdown, but is he a all well-rounded player where can he block and run? So then it's like, and then you have Beck. So it's like, if you say, we can go, assuming Taylor's healthy, go Taylor, Smart, Beck, go those 3 guys, and then maybe find a way. Like, because Donovan Edwards he's an interesting player. Like, you're right, you don't want to see him go. Like, we've learned this lesson in the past with the Jets, cut guys where they show a lot in preseason, and then they go somewhere else and they flourish. And then then the whole thing with Brees too. It's like I agree with you. I don't think Brees is going to go anywhere. Maybe the trade deadline if the season goes awry and everybody's doing well, but now you can't. And injuries always happen. But the Donovan Edwards thing, man, if he keeps playing like this throughout preseason, this is going to get, because Jet fans already like him now. Can you imagine he plays well the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, and it's crazy with Edwards too. This isn't like, this was a guy that in Michigan 2 years ago looked like he could have been a 1st-round pick, and then just didn't really do much last year and fell down to a UDFA. You find something in him here. This is a guy that not just this season, but future years, especially if Brees isn't a part of the picture down the road, would play a role moving forward. And again, it's only 1 preseason game, but yeah, it's tough, the numbers game. And I do want to go to the tight ends for a second too, because you were mentioning that Ruckert is just, it's tough. It's a tough watch. He hasn't provided anything as a receiver. Stone Smart's looked better. Even Zach Kuntz made a couple plays.
Yep. It's disappointing, man. It's so disappointing.
Yeah.
So then you look at the tight end. So you have that. Then the wide receiver group, you didn't really see a lot of them because you have, Garrett Wilson didn't have any catches, but it's like Alan Lazard got hurt. We're not really sure the extent of that. Josh Reynolds didn't play. Mm-hmm. Malachi Court, like Aaron Smith. Actually, Aaron Smith showed me something, man, because the big rap on him was inconsistent hands, not a good route runner, all these different things. He had 2 catches. He had the 1 deep shot where they just missed him by a couple inches. Tyler Johnson, another guy but it's like, I still want to see more of Skinner had that great catch as well, but you kind of still want to see more of the wide receiver group. And that's kind of, with the tight end group being kind of, I don't know, more, you're looking for more of the tight end group, and the wide receiver group's not picking up the slack. That's where I'm getting a little nervous.
Yeah, I agree. I actually liked what I saw from Arian Smith, and you mentioned they just missed him. Martinez just missed him on that diving grab just out of his reach. But yeah, he got hurt. Hasn't camp, and obviously, hurt in the preseason game. Brandon Smith's come along. He had the two first options from Martinez. Yeah, I agree. It's tough. I know Tyler Johnson had the 1 catch, and Reynolds has made some plays in camp, but you still have those concerns behind Garrett. You have Mason Taylor, of course, who wasn't out there with the high ankle sprain, but it feels like it's just really by committee. Can Beck emerge more? Can Stone Smart emerge more? I like what they did with Stone Smart on that tight end screen. That's the most athletic play we've seen the Jets tight end make in probably a decade, getting him out in space like that. So that was a positive. Can you do more of that? Can you scheme him a bit more open? And that's the challenge for Engstrand too, is they might not have the most talent, but can you scheme these guys open? Can you put them in positions to succeed? They were able to do that with Stone Smart. Can you do that with some of these receivers? You expect to have certain practices for Arian Smith. You kind of saw the potential with Arian Smith on that deep ball. obviously a bit of a better throw, he catches it. But yeah, it's
Your internet is terrible tonight. I'm gonna blame this on Afram, I think, because your internet's awful. You gotta blame Afram for something at this point.
yeah, my internet choppy
So now
tonight.
the one thing we can go back to is also the quarterbacks, where you have Justin Fields learning the offense, and then you have Brady Cook and Adrian Martinez. How are they going to look? And the cool thing was everybody looked comfortable. Like all the quarterbacks looked prepared. They looked comfortable. They weren't overwhelmed. They knew how to run the offense. They're throwing the ball around, and we didn't see that. Like the last couple of years, it looked like it had to be a work of art to complete a pass. Now things look so much easier in the offense, and they look fluid, which is encouraging. And I actually like the way Cook played, and Martinez as well. Like I was like, all right. It's like they look better than freaking Zach Wilson looked in the preseason. Like it seems like night and day the way this offense is prepared and how they're executing. And again, I understand it's August 11th, but it's the quarterbacks it was fun to watch, man.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that was something I was talking to somebody earlier today about. And you make a great point where watching the game so many times over the last couple of years, it's like pulling teeth trying to get 5 yards. But on Saturday it looked easy. Even the backups, the third strings, Martinez and Cook made it look easy. They were getting guys open, setting up the run to set up the pass. Like it was competent, successful, moving the ball NFL offense. We haven't seen that, and it's again positive to see that it was back. Plus, of course, the starting offense, driving 70 plus for the touchdown.
Quick answer. How was Shinedown? Hugh, I saw Shinedown Madison Square Garden their first time playing there. Easily one of the best concerts I've ever seen from them, especially. I saw Lincoln Park last Sunday, and then this Wednesday going to see Bad Religion and Dropkick Murphys, and then System of a Down and Korn the end of August. So I'm keeping my concerts busy, man. So if anybody's going to any of those concerts, reach out to me and say hi, because I love going to shows. Can't keep myself busy with those. So now going to the defense. Yeah. Defense is interesting where you want to see, can they stop the run? Are they going to be physical? They're missing a lot of players. Cowart was out. Jermaine Johnson just got activated today. So you want to see how they play. And I kept saying his name wrong. How did you say the guy's name? Is it Tufele?
Tufele?
Tufele. Bro, the guy first played the game offsides, and I'm like, oh, this guy. I'm like, cut him today. I'm over him. Yeah. And then you saw how explosive he was, how they're getting after the quarterback, getting play, just beating up people. Stop. It was just like, where's this defense coming from? Because that was like the defensive line going into the game was a big concern, especially against the Packers starters or, like their formidable lines.
No, yeah. And same thing from the Jets offensive line perspective. They were going up against some of the Packers starting defensive line and same thing vice versa, which is a huge positive, especially coming from the depth guys. But yeah, Tufele, I think it's Tufele. Some people might say Tufele. I think I've always said Tufele, but either way, he was excellent. Leonard Taylor as well, which was that opportunity was set up by the Quantez Stigger's nice tackle on the gunner rep against McCole Harmon, who had one heck of a night with that and then the muff punt. It was a rough one for him. But no, yeah, it was great. I mean, Leonard Taylor, Tufele had a really good game. And you want to see that because you still have some questions as to who's going to emerge. And that's also Cowart, who feels like the front runner for the defensive tackle 2 spot next to Quinnen. But you wanted to see more guys emerge there. You saw that. And I'm really interested on what Derek Notty's future is because Tufele's had a good camp. Cowart's had a good camp. He hasn't done much. Leonard Taylor has emerged as well.
Yep.
Even Fedarian Mathis. Now you get Jermaine back, although that's edge. But I am interested in seeing what they do with Notty because I know they signed him. He's a veteran, but he hasn't done much. And with these other guys emerging, it's something interesting to watch the rest of the way this summer.
Yeah, exactly. But also you have to figure there's always injuries too throughout training camp and preseason. So it could be like a war of attrition where he makes the team that way. But that's something like I watch that every game, every practice. Like, all right, how they faring up against the Giants? You want to see it. So that's gonna be interesting. The defense was the one where you saw penalties and you're like, and the thing that pissed me off, I think it was Watts had the sideline hit out of bounds where it was close. I'm like, all right, no big deal. Then I think McCrary Ball followed him with another late hit. And I'm like, it reminded me of last year. Like I instantly start cursing, start throwing things. But the minute McCrary Ball came off the field, Aaron Glenn just ripped into him and didn't let it go. Like Glenn literally on the sideline walked over and talked to his players saying, listen, man, this is unacceptable. Like we're not doing this anymore. We've got to be a smarter team. So he has the commitment to He talked about it in the press conference, but you're seeing it real time. Like, this is real time coaching. Like, not going to wait till the locker room. We're not going to wait till, watching the tape. I saw it firsthand what's going to happen. We're addressing it now. And that was, to me, especially on defense, which has been known for all kinds of dumb personal fouls over the last 2 years. That was, dude, it was so welcome. And also the intensity. Like, they all hit. They seemed like they weren't zombies out there, especially third quarter, fourth quarter. The team seemed fully vested, where the starters were still watching. They're cheering them on, like watching their teammates, coaching up. Sauce Gardner was one of the biggest ones, helping them out. It just seemed like it's more of a team. They're a united team. They're more physical. They're more prepared. And then when things go wrong, Glenn's got a firm grasp on it too. We're like, listen, this shit we're not gonna tolerate this shit here. And that was like, all right, maybe this defense has a chance.
Yeah, definitely. Glenn did more on the sideline in one preseason game than Saleh, I think, did in his 3.5 years. The Watts play, the Marcelino McCurry ball, I was right there with you. Seeing those back-to-back penalties, like, you guys are kidding me. I know it's only that was they've had.
Your internet is terrible tonight, bro. You're killing me.
Yeah, my internet is awful tonight. Can you hear me now?
Better now. We're gonna bring on our IT. So, Afram, what do you recommend that we do with Bubs here? Because
he's gonna have to restart his router.
He is, right?
Yeah, gotta do that.
Restart your router, dude.
Restart your router. Something is hosed. Just need to reset.
Yeah,
we'll be here for you, man.
Yeah.
All right. I'll be back. Yeah. This is rough.
That's your first course of action. Oh, Armand.
So, Afram, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I've recovered from last week from all the viciousness that you threw at me, but I'm okay.
Well, I mean, like Aaron Glenn, we hold people accountable around here. So this is what we have to do.
Okay, who's holding you accountable?
That's a good question. It used to be Kevin. I don't know what's gonna happen now. I like free reign now, do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But we were texting during the game, and it was like it just seemed different, dude. Like you're watching, it was preparation, it was intensity,
exactly.
It was coaching, right?
And that's the first thing we wanted to see, is to see how these guys come out and they look coached, something we didn't see before. And I'm glad that they played the starters, because now you see, you saw the offensive line, especially on pass protection. They're very good in pass protection. I think they still need some work on opening up holes for the and the run, but they're getting there.
Yep.
Yeah, it was refreshing to see Membu. He played really well.
Did really well.
Also, it's good to know that Tippmann can move over to guard, and you have a viable option at center. That's also good because anything can happen to either side, right? And then you see the backups playing well. Yes, they're playing against other backups, but it's good to see the intensity of these guys fighting for work jobs, knowing that there's a possibility they can win a position. Not like last year. They kind of knew, I think, that jobs were already made up, and then maybe here and there special teams. But now you see Leonard Taylor coming out of nowhere, right? Because he sees there's an opportunity. There's actual real competition going on certain spots. So
this is exactly. Thank you, Jack. First of all, his comment is refreshing to see the team look organized, focused, and knew what their assignments were. We look like we actually have been practicing. This actually was a good week of practice, and that's what I walked away from saying is like we heard about the physical practice. It translated to the field on both sides of the ball. Even special teams, they were like a nastier, more physical team. The coach, the attention to detail, I liked by the entire coaching staff. Were like you could see there's a higher standard now where it's not complacency. These players are being held accountable, and they know where it's like, listen, they're just playing harder. It seemed like, and this is a preseason game, dude. Like a lot of these guys can very easily mail it in. Like I made the roster, no big deal. Yeah. It doesn't seem like that at all.
Yeah, and you talked about the guy, the bar. He pulled in and started telling him, and then he turned and gave him that nasty look. But if you watch through the game, when there was another there was another penalty on the offensive line or whatever, you see the nasty look he had, the disgust.
Quick.
Yeah, and you saw Engstrom too. He was not happy on certain times when they put the camera on him.
But even Michael Clemens made that stupid penalty, which I was yelling at the TV. I'm like, I want him off this goddamn team immediately. Yeah. Next play, he's out. So it's like they're learning that there are repercussions now for things they're doing, which it should be.
And they came out to play fast. You could see the defensive line not hitting gaps and then leaving holes open. They were waiting, and
I don't think your dog likes your opinion.
What's that?
Bubs, you hear his dog crying?
Yeah, he wants to go out. So I'm gonna make it short. But hey,
So right now you're making your dog suffer so you can talk Jets?
that's all right. He's got to learn that, because he'll go out for a squirt and then make us go out every 5 seconds. So he's got to learn that.
He's got to learn to
'cause
squirt longer?
he went out not too long ago. So, but
Maybe he had a rough night last night. How do you know what he
what
drank all
rough night?
day?
What is he drinking? He's out of the clubs.
How do you know what he's doing when you're at work all day? You don't know what he's
Now
doing.
he's yawning. But yeah, no, it was. See, now this next test is to see how well that offensive line plays against this giant defensive line.
Here's my question for you. You have the joint practice for 2 days. I'll ask you too, Bubs. You have it tomorrow and Wednesday, back-to-back days, which joint practices are intense, man, because it's opposing team. It's going to be hotter than hell outside. They're going to really ramp it up. If you have that kind of physicality during the week, does Aaron Glenn then on Saturday say, you know what? We don't need the starters to play because they've got great reps in for 2 days this week?
Yeah, that's going to be a good question. They might be the same thing for both teams,
But would you be mad like that? I would understand that because you're having that would make what do you think, Bubs? That would make more sense to me if they do that. They pull it this week.
Yeah, I would think so if they would to do it, it'd be this week just because you have the 2 days. But I still think just the way Glenn is that there's a good chance they're out there on Saturday. But I think a lot of it potentially depends on how well he feels they do these next 2 days, and then if he feels another game is necessary. But
yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how they handle it 100% because it's like usually when there's joint practices, the second day is always the shit show. Because the first day there's always like the fights and like that, and then they have the overnight to go, and the second day is usually the worst one of the two because it just goes off the rails. So we'll see how they handle it. But and then you want to see the Jets build on it too. Get out from you look puzzled.
Are the Jets televising that or anything like that on their website or anything like that?
We're gonna give Bubs on his phone that he can just like stream it for us.
Because I know sometimes they do it after the fact. They have what's his name?
Eric Allen
does it with the girl, and they just do it from the building, but they don't really show you much. They just talk about and they bring on people.
But it's gonna get heated, dude. It's gonna be freaking 90-something degrees. They're gonna go after it the next 2 days.
Well, I see it between their defensive line and our O line. I see fights in there.
Yep.
Because I'm sure they're gonna want to make a statement on that D line because that's the best part of their game on the Giants. It should be interesting, but that's how you get tougher.
So now, how do you handle the running backs? For right now, everybody's really high on Donovan Edwards. So you have Brees Brown, Isaiah Davis, Donovan Edwards, plus the tight end group where you have Stone Smart, you have Rucker, you have Mason Taylor, Beck as a fullback, which we all love. He showed a lot. He showed more in one game than we've seen at tight ends in freaking a decade, catching the ball and moving around. Right? He looked like that's what we want Rucker to be since he's been here.
I don't see. It's hard to say you're going to keep four running backs.
It's difficult, dude. Especially you got to be a special teams demon, like Bub said. You have to be.
Yeah, and that's can he do kickoff returns? But you have the other guy.
Yep.
I don't think they even had him doing any kickoff returns at any point. Is he a gunner? Can he be a gunner on special teams?
And one thing I like about that is Glenn makes a premium on that. The special teams, like he talks about, like Isaiah Davis does it. So you realize that you got to be a well-rounded player to make this roster. You can't be a one-trick pony, which makes you wonder how much of a contributor can Edwards be. And like I think Beck is solidified, but the tight end position is just like, I mean, Rutgers
that's a mess.
Disappointing, dude. If Mason Taylor's out for any kind of period of time, if you say he's out 4 to 6 weeks, we'll probably find out tomorrow. I'm guessing the injury report, dude. You have to go look for somebody else, or you have to say, right, maybe move back up. Like, how would you even handle that? You got to make a change somehow.
Well, you're gonna keep Rutgers just to block at that point, and then you have Smart as your offensive tight end because he can't.
You would hate to have a guy that what they do when they come on the field. Like when there's certain players come on, like when he comes on the field, he's a blocker, he can't catch, or he can catch but he can't block. You'd hate to have that in your roster. It's not a really good roster spot then.
Who's available?
That's the question. Bubs, give us an answer for tight ends.
I think Stone Smart's honestly probably jumped Ruckert at this point.
Yeah.
Especially as a receiver. I think that's pretty clear.
Actually, Kuntz has jumped in front of Ruckert.
Yeah, Kuntz has done more. He actually on the practice the other day actually had a couple catches too, and then even in the preseason game. But I think there's a chance where if somebody's available after roster cuts, like a veteran shakes free, they might claim, and then he'd probably automatically. It doesn't take much to be the best tight end 2 on this team. That might not be on this team right now. So
Yeah.
I think there's still probably time for that position to get filled out.
And you see guys playing hard, and he's just not getting anything out of him.
Now you go on the defense side of the ball. The one guy I like to see moving around was Cisco. Cisco's flying around all over the place. Where we always wanted the safety with range, but they seem to have a lot of range and they couldn't make plays. It seemed like he was always around the ball, whether it was making a tackle or trying to get a turnover. That's an interesting thing. Now the other is who's going to be his running mate, because you have Tony Adams, you have Malachi Moore. What do you think about these guys? Like, how do you think that plays out? Okay, Bubs, you can start with you.
No, yeah, I like the way that Cisco played. I like the way that Cisco has played all summer. I think he's looked really good, and I'm excited to see what he can do in a better situation. I think last year he was more of a product of Jacksonville than just himself. Yeah. They were playing Malachi Moore too a bit at nickel, which was interesting because he has some cornerback experience from Alabama. I like Malachi Moore a lot. I think there's a real chance he takes over Tony Adams next to Cisco, whether that's week 1 or some point early on in the year. I think Malachi Moore will eventually be this team's starting safety, and he kind of fits that Glenn Billing as to what he'd want back there. But I like the way the room's shaking out. And then Oliver, you have Isaiah Oliver too, who's that depth that could be cornerback, safety, a little bit of that Swiss Army knife. And you also have, of course, Tony Adams too, if he is out of that starting role and he's solid depth. But even if Malachi Moore's depth to begin the year, and he takes on that role later on, it's a solid room.
No, I agree.
Yeah, no, it's shaping up. I mean, it's just the 2 spots we're concerned is wide receiver 2 and tight end.
Yeah.
At this point.
Well, I'm becoming concerned with the quarterback position because this Tyrod Taylor injury is just weird to me. It's a knee injury that they haven't talked anything about. They haven't given him a timeline. He's not active. It's like, at what point do you say, all right, what are we doing here? Because Cook and Martinez look good, but they're ridiculously inexperienced. Like, that wouldn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy if that's the case. Like, what'd you think about the quarterbacks, Afram?
Well, I saw that they gave Martinez the whole half. He did look a lot better. To me, he looked a lot better than Cook.
Yep.
I thought he was more accurate with his throws and he can move a lot better. But then again, he's been with the team a second full year with the. So I could see. Do they carry 3? Or do they carry the 2 and then he's the emergency in case the number 2 gets hurt? Right? Is that the clause now?
Well, we got some breaking news here. We got to discuss this.
Emergency QB3.
It appears that Afram has his own special spot on Jets Afterburners.
You see what you started?
The guy is basically a third co-host at this point. Would you like to comment about this, Afram?
Not one bit. I go on to listen to Dan. I love his crazy takes, but he's a good guy.
Oscar has a question for you. Are you going to give us 2 weeks' notice before you leave us, or are you just going to leave and just never come back?
Wow. Would I even do that? Meanwhile, I'm playing with this dog. He keeps coming with these toys.
So, Bubs, right now, as Afram's sitting here smiling, his dog is pissing his fur because he
my son just came in and he took him out.
Poor dog's melting over there.
No.
So what do you want to see out of the Jets this week against the Giants in the joint practices? You want to just
I want to see that offensive line.
Yeah.
Give Fields the same amount of time that they gave him against Green Bay. They did look good. I liked it. They stayed in position. The other guy tried to, they didn't go with the guy that they were blocking. They let him slide over and they kept their position. And it was very hard to get him, and he was getting rid of the ball.
Well, that's the key, though. I'm curious, but I'm curious about Fields now. Like, Bubs, what do you think? Because offensive line, the Giants' defensive front is nasty. They got a ton of talent over there. So if they can block, great. Can Justin Fields, under duress, complete passes with this banged-up wide receiver group? You figure Alan Lazard's hurt, Josh Reynolds has some kind of injury, Mason Taylor's hurt. So you're not with your full string offense here. I'm curious to see how Fields handles this. Who is his go-to guy? Is it Beck, the safety valve? Is it Brees out of the backfield? Like, how do they handle the receiving options under duress and with all these injuries?
Yeah, it's interesting because he had a lot of clean pockets on Saturday.
Sure did.
Abdul Carter, the couple snaps that he had looked nasty against Buffalo. And I believe those were two coming off of Deion Dawkins as well. Like that wasn't some scrub. He was nasty. So that'll be a good test for the tackles. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think, again, in games, you're going to probably see him defer a lot to just scrambling. But in the joint practices, you kind of have to step up a little bit and stay in the pocket and try and deliver throws and completions. I think you look at Beck, after that game and the way that they hopefully potentially use him as that safety blanket. Brees as well, of course, somebody if you just kind of a dump off option. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Can any of these guys really create space? Can they get open? That's the big question. Like, if Garrett's not open, can Josh Reynolds, like how can he find a way to get open? That's the biggest.
And this is where Brees comes in.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, now we have there's a Matt says he feels they played well. That legend didn't have a hangover on Sunday morning. Matt, contrary to popular belief, he had a ridiculous hangover because he wasn't used to seeing the Jets play that well. When he saw how good the coaching was, that was I'm looking at him right now, that he's still hungover. When the Jets win, the party never stops with him. So just so you know.
It was good to see that on some of the plays, Fields stepped into the pocket versus trying to scramble out and like Zach used to do. And basically,
did you see Zach's bounce pass in Miami?
That was his second bounce pass in that drive.
It was wide open. Terrible memories.
It's just strange because during that drive, I was watching it. He made some really good throws, and then it's
the easy ones.
Yeah, but he could never get those down.
It's funny as hell, though. Now, one last question for you, Afram. The defensive line group is really interesting. Now you get Jermaine Johnson back. You have Coward's hurt as of now. Not sure what the status of him. Leonard Taylor's coming on. Yeah. Are you starting to get maybe a little less concerned with the defensive line depth than you were going into the game? Are you getting a little more saying like maybe there is some talent here, but you're getting coached up better? Maybe there's more assets here than we realize, or is it still a work in progress?
What is his name? The
Tufeli, I think it's
Tufeli.
Yeah,
he looks hungry.
He's a beast.
And Leonard Taylor is picking it up. But listen, they made plays. I love that play he did. He just reached out and just tapped the ball out of his hand.
Yep.
It wasn't out there. He was making plays. He was hungry. He's experienced. And Taylor, we'll see how they play this next one. It's a good test. It'd be nice to watch the game, but we'll find out from Bubs. Are you going tomorrow, Bubs?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll find out from the Bubs report.
Hook them up.
The Bubs report.
Yeah. Yes, I appreciate that. You going too, Tyson, right?
I can't get off work, man. I tried. That's why I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, of all days.
You need to put a GoPro on your head.
Oh, me? Like the quarterbacks?
Yeah, just put it on there.
We better get a full report, though. That's all I know.
That's it, yeah.
Be
watching your Twitter feed. Be watching your X
That's right. We won't get the insight, the fights, all the other shit.
Before everybody else. But
Well, Afram, we just want to say we appreciate you taking time in your very busy schedule to join us. I know as a host of another show, it's not time. It's not easy to make time for. This is a very difficult schedule you're carrying right now.
Well, I started here. This is where I started. My roots are here, so I'm not gonna forget you guys.
You just charge us less going forward. We'll get the discount price.
Yeah, as much as you pay the other guys, I'll do it gratis. How about that one?
Have a good night, man. And take care of your dog, please.
I will. He's got to play games with him now. So this is his thing.
Have a good night, man.
Take care, guys. Be well.
And he was right because your stream is much better now.
Yeah, I should have restarted before, but it is what it is.
You're slacking off, man. We got to hold you accountable now.
When we were having the choppy internet in the I just backed out of StreamYard and back in, but I probably should have shut down my computer and did the full restart. But anyway.
So what's up? It says NFL season has officially started. Let's talk Jets radio on a Monday. We're back. We've been back, but thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Just cruising along here. Preseason's flying by. You have the joint practice this week. Let's go to. Do you want? Okay, I'll give you a choice, man. I usually give you a choice. Do you want an intense conversation or do you want chaos?
I think I chose the interesting choice last week, and then chaos second. So I guess we go chaos first this week.
Chaos first this time?
Yeah. Switch.
What's up, man?
What's up? I unfortunately didn't get to watch the full game because I had to head out to work.
The first fucking rule we have is you got to watch the game. How much of the game did you watch?
Say about the first. I'd say about like 60%.
So did you make it to halftime?
Yeah.
That's not bad then. At least you saw the starters. That's not too bad then.
I think one of the things that I think obviously we talked about that how well prepared they looked at this from this game. The thing that I took away from the game that really like said thank God they got this is the turnovers.
Good point.
It's like because I can't remember the game because it was like for all the prowess of the solid defense, their one Achilles heel was securing turnovers, especially when it was fumbles on the ground.
I agree.
I don't remember the game, but maybe you guys remember it. It was like they forced a fumble and they stared at it for like half a second.
They'll never recover them.
Yep.
And then it's like, and by the time they realize, oh shit, we have to get the ball, the other team had already secured it, secured it.
Yep.
I don't remember the game, but I know that happened.
Yeah, no, turnovers are a big part of it. And Aaron Glenn puts it up, it's a premium on it. He wants it.
Well, obviously as an offensive back, that was his calling card. His calling card was turnover.
Yep.
In his career. So, that's what I took away. And because the moment that fumble happened in the end zone, they immediately went for it. Like there was no hesitation, no nothing. They knew exactly what to do, and they secured it. And then the same thing happened on special teams. The moment the ball got on the ground, they pounced on it. It's like, and I'm like, yes, thank you. That is what I want to see.
Yep.
The moment the ball is on the ground, you pounce for it. No lackadaisical stare. You just go for it and secure it. I don't care if it's like not actually a turnover or not. Just if it's not like a fumble,
right?
Or you know what I'm saying. Even if you're not sure it's a fumble, you go pounce on it. That's what you got to do. And that's what I saw in this game. And that's what I saw. That was my takeaway from this game, and I really liked that. I really like what I saw from that. And to go on the penalty stuff, it's just great to see. They screw up and they get a tongue lashing on the sidelines.
I agree.
Because that's what they need. It's like there are times pat the players on the back, and there are times when you got to just let them know that this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. Then you got to be better than this.
No, I agree. What'd you think about Justin Fields?
I like what I saw from him. Love watching love the touchdown run. That was just, and obviously we already mentioned high IQ. Baiting the defensive backs.
Yep.
So that he could get he can get in the end zone.
Well, that was Isaiah Davis.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not good with names, so names are not my strong point. But yeah, no, Isaiah Davis. I'm being brutally honest. But
what'd you think about the Brady Cook?
Sorry, like I said, I'm not good with names. Are not my strong point.
The quarterback after Justin Fields.
I thought he looked. Like I said, the quarterback.
You didn't watch it. There's no way you watched it. You didn't watch it. You did not watch the second quarter of the game. I'm betting you didn't.
Yeah, like I said, second quarter of the game I was on the train, so I didn't have signal.
So you lied. So you said you watched 60%. Yeah, you done 25% of the game.
But after the game, after the game was over, I watched the highlights.
So now you're watching the highlights?
No, it said after.
Why would you lie to me, dude?
I'm not. And like I said, look,
truth always comes out.
I watched the first part of the game, and then the second half, I watched only the highlights of the game.
Bro, we can't do this.
I feel like
we just can't do this. We have rules. We knew it. I knew it.
It's funny. It's like 60% of the game. Remember the solid quote when you think you've given it all, you've only given 60%.
That's true.
So I guess his 60% is 20%.
Man, what are we doing here? I knew it. The minute he couldn't answer how much he watched the game, I had a feeling. You ask. I kind of looped him into it. I'm waiting for you. I don't know who Brady Cook is. Come on.
Yeah.
So now I'm so glad this next guy called in because we talked about Andrew Beck. We're talking about Jeremy Ruckert. And we're very blessed on Let's Talk Jets. We have a tight end expert that can talk about Kittle. He could talk about Ruckert. He could talk about Mason Taylor.
How you doing, Tyson? How you doing, Bubs?
You're looking buff there,
How's it
dude. You
going?
hitting the gym?
Oh, a little bit,
Taking some creatine?
maybe. I don't use a lot of pre-workout or stuff like that. But I have
You eat like raw steak?
I actually have been cooking steaks. I've been getting into cooking steaks recently.
Really?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. More than I expected. I really like cooking now. So
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
So now give us your take on the Jets, what you saw so far.
I think obviously it's preseason. You don't want to overreact to anything, but there are very clear bad signs you can see from a team in preseason. And in the years when the Jets were bad, you often saw those things pop up. And I think I like the fact that our starters played. Before the game, there was people criticizing Glenn for playing the starters, playing Fields. I agree. You have to stay with your message. You have to stay true to yourself. And the fact that if we were to have entered this game and not played our starters after having these tough practices, after doing the things we've been saying, and one, to not even play them, or two, to play them and we look like shit, we come out this looking terrible. So I'm glad that we just had a nice first drive. Fields did, as like Glenn said, in all the plays they have like a shot or so, and if it's not there, you take the check down or you run. And I think Fields did that well. In terms of the offense starting, the line looked good. I like that on Fields. It's just about being consistent with that. I like Westlaw from the defense. I was encouraged by the defensive tackle play, although I'm not yet gonna get too excited about that because we know what it's been like next to Quinn, and the guy's been playing by himself for way too long.
So now, how do you break it down the tight end position? Because Beck is interesting, man, as a fullback, where he's a hybrid guy. He can do a lot of different things, which is good. The Jets desperately needed that for a long time.
Yeah.
But now you have Mason Taylor with an injury. You have Ruckert, who's just been disappointing. You have Stone Smart. How do you factor in if you want to keep? Do you want to keep 4 running backs, or you say I'm going to keep 3 running backs, and Beck would be kind of like that, almost like how do you handle that whole breakdown between the running backs, the tight end, and the fullback?
Well, so Taylor has a high ankle sprain. Are we expecting him back week 1? Or
Me personally, I'm not, because I think that I've been wrong, but it's like a 4 to 6 week injury usually. It's not like a 1 week thing.
So, that's such a bummer because I was really kind of high on his like sleeper potential in our offense because no one really talks about him in terms of like national media and stuff like that. Despite it being a 2nd round pick, and Fields often targets tight ends. He goes there all the time. Going back.
But even to cut you off, even if he's off 3 more weeks, he's missing the entire training camp. That's
I know. So I was hoping maybe he can get back for the last week. And, you kind of work him in because he clearly is, to me, the best tight end that we have, or at least it looks like it. In terms of, especially with him being like the whole package, where you have some guys on our roster who can catch and run like Stone Smart, but you're not really confident in them blocking.
Right.
And with our team's identity, that kind of doesn't line up as well, which is why I think we saw Beck get more run time this week because he can block and he can clearly play from out the backfield, out the.
That was one of Muji's first signings too. So they knew what they got. They knew what they're getting out of him.
Yeah. So I think I would stay with Beck. I would keep using Beck. In terms of the 4th running back, I think Edwards probably ends up practice squad. I mean, he might make the roster, which fine, but I think he could. If we feel like he's gonna make practice squad, I think you would just do that, right? And then you would be able to keep the tight ends that you need at the moment. Ruckert has been like a disappointment. I don't have any expectations from him anymore, really. I was right now off of the first game. You're probably looking at Beck. You're hoping you're hoping Taylor's back, and you're hoping Smart can give you something.
So in your world, you're keeping just 3 running backs. I'm in the same boat you are. I can't justify keeping 4.
Yeah,
and everybody's like, both Donovan Edwards, you don't keep him, he's gonna go somewhere else. I mean, to me, it's like that 4th running back could be another defensive lineman you want to use, another offensive lineman. It's like a position that's kind of more pressing, as good as Donovan Edwards is. And then again, maybe like unfortunately injuries always happen too. So you don't make any moves now. Maybe Brees gets banged up. Who knows? you have him there as a kind of like a safety valve. But it's gonna be interesting, man, because the tight end position just drives me crazy. And then you look at the wide receivers. Lazard's banged up. Reynolds is hurt. It's like Corley not really showing a ton. Arian Smith was encouraging. That was a good sign. Tyler Johnson. But it's just the pass catching, especially Mason Taylor hurt, just makes me nervous, dude.
Yeah, Corley is probably gone.
I think so too.
Right now, it's looking like a real outside chance. One thing I wonder about the receiver situation is on like the Brees where Glenn has talked about how where the clip of him talking to Brees saying getting you out wide, getting you matched up on linebackers, all this stuff. I wonder if or how much we're going to see of that if they have like packages where you're basically doubling up Braylon Brees and then Brees is just motioning out to become a receiver.
Exactly.
Obviously, I would expect if they do have stuff like that, they won't be showing us that in the preseason because you'd want to just bring that out of nowhere against Pittsburgh. So I wonder if the receiver, if we're not going to end up playing too many guys, because even Detroit, like last year, they had Amon-Ra, they have Jameson, and then they had Tim Patrick, and even then they still found a lot of ways to only put one or two out at a time.
Yep.
And so they just went as heavy as they could, and they run out those looks, they throw out those looks, and I think that's basically what we're going to be doing. So I'm not too concerned about receiver because entering this year, after finishing the draft, you're looking at our team and this is Garrett Wilson, and then this is what can the tight ends, what can the line do, what can the running backs do.
So,
yeah.
To answer this question, I see everybody in the chat. Primetime, he came on one stream and said he's working a lot. He gets home weird hours, and that's all I heard. So, like Primetime and Tyrone did the same thing. They just vanished. Like I don't fire anybody, man. I just do streams. Like I just come here, I do content, and if they don't want to be a part of it or they're busy, they're busy. I don't know. Like I don't know. I didn't. Just Bub's been nice enough to join me, and I'm just hanging out. Like I didn't.
Bub's getting fired in a year or so.
Bubs is. Bubs be like, he'll be the same thing now. His channel will get big, but yeah, man, I'm too busy, man. Sorry. Fire anybody. But Javed, so what do you want to see going forward this week against the Giants? You have two joint practices, the game on Saturday. A part of me thinks if they have these two joint practices, they both actually happen. Usually the second day is a shit show. I kind of get the feeling they may not play their starters on Saturday if they get really good work this week. How do you feel about that? Do you see the same thing happening? You think Glenn's like, you know what? Don't care. Everybody's going to play.
I think it depends. I think what'll probably happen is, you go through the practices. If you get out healthy, and maybe you don't see everything you wanted to see from the joint practices, they get a drive or two this weekend. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Get some more plays because then you probably won't play the third game. So At least you can do. We only had one drive, so now you can get even some more plays in there. And I think if people start to get hurt, you might see, we play amazing in the joint practices and do everything like Glenn wants to see. You might see him let them off, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them play. For me, going to joint practices about what I'd like to see. I was talking to my brother. He's a Giants fan, and for me, one of the biggest things I like to hear is how are Membu and Olu doing, especially Membu in that, oftentimes nowadays, the left tackle doesn't actually get the best pass rusher. That's so Membu is going to have to carry that the whole time, and going against the Giants, who have, in my opinion, at least two edge rushers in Burns and in Carter. I mean, Carter hasn't done anything yet, but he will. Like
100%.
Carter to me seems like such a sure hit player, and not just from before he came to the league in college, but also seeing like the clips of him in camp, seeing what he did this past weekend.
Bro, they got Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence too. Like,
yep, they have Burns, they have Lawrence, and then they have Thibodeau, who he's been not what they wanted, but he's still not an easy matchup. And so I want to hearing about what Membu is going to do in these practice days. It's going to be pretty big for me because one, I'll say when it comes to the Jets, I think one of the sneaky things that we're waiting on, and that I'm waiting on or looking to see is, can Will McDonald become maybe a top 3, top 5 player on this team in terms of if you've seen Quinnen's interview with Kay Adams, Quinnen said he spoke very highly of Will. He said he thinks Will can be a 15 to 20 sack guy. He thinks he's already at that level. He just needs to go out there and do it. And if Will is that level of edge rusher that we all saw the flashes of, if he is as good as we think he is, he puts together like a few, like some good days and stuff like that, where I think and I was saying to my brother, I'd like to see Membu do well against the Giants players. One, because I know they're amazing, and if Membu does well against them, with them being amazing, and Will having been getting the better of him sometimes in camp, I feel completely comfortable
Better
with
about
that.
Will.
Where
Yeah.
because I know they've been saying Will at the beginning of camp had they beating him early, and then Membu's had some solid days, but Will has still probably been the better force. But if he goes into that Giants thing and just gets tore up, I'm like, oof, but
we got a question. The chat has a question for you. Which tight end is overrated going into the season?
Ooh, that's a good question. If I had to say a tight end who I think I'll say I don't think he's an overrated player, but I questioned if Loveland is going to do as well fantasy wise this season. Not saying he's bad. For me with that the Loveland thing, right, is I think going to fantasy, everyone's like, oh, Ben Johnson drafted a new tight end, but the Bears have a ton of weapons. Caleb Williams has never played under center. He doesn't throw to tight ends often in college. He didn't do it a lot last year. They have DJ Moore. They have Roma Dunze. They drafted Luther Burden in the second round this year. They still have Cole Kmet. If people are targeting high in fantasy, I would be a little skeptical on that. That's what
we're not talking about fantasy. We're just talking in general, though.
He's overrated this season, and I was thinking of fantasy football and like tight end rankings and stuff, and I just don't know if the numbers are going to match that this exact year.
So now we have another question. What's the scheme that will allow the tight ends to flourish?
I think exactly what we've been doing, honestly. If Garrett and Arian Smith can take the top off of the defense and the running game works well, that means that our tight ends will have, and Beck as a fullback / tight end will have all the space they want underneath and in the middle to get open. And
Bubs, do you believe anything Javed says? You think he just sounds he's just full of shit?
No, he's doing good. I mean, I actually Loveland is. It will be interesting to see what happens with just. Well,
the question was so crazy
because Bubs is sitting there listening to you, like he's like, all right, I kind of agree with him, but like you can disagree if you want. Like don't let him like lecture you. Just like if you want to disagree.
I mean, I to be honest could use all the fantasy football advice because my fantasy football success is not good. I have struggled in fantasy.
Every time I've come on here with a crazy take, I got laughed at, but I was very right on them.
Oh, really? Every take?
Yes.
We gotta go back and with.
I mean, the only two that stood out was when I said DK was overrated, right? Mm-hmm. I said I thought DJ Moore was as good a receiver as DK. DJ was just in Carolina, and no one cared about him. And DK could only really run go routes. And I feel like I've been kind of proven right on that front. Not to say that DK is a bad player. I just thought he was rated over guys who I thought were as good as him. And then I said the whole Kittle thing, and I think Kittle's a great player, but a lot of it is system based. Like
it's amazing. Every time he calls in, doesn't matter what time of year it is.
You brought up Kittle first.
Listen, the chat. The chat asked me. I ask you. I'm innocent here. I'm this messenger.
It wasn't a bad take, Afram. I was right. They told me Kittle was getting open all the time by himself. It was so much play action. That is scripted, and that is schemed up. That's all I was talking about on Kittle. They don't split him out wide and say, "Hey, man, go run a double move." He doesn't do that, and that's fine. Not everyone has to do that. But
do you ever go on Bub's channel? You ever go on his channel and talk to him?
I follow Bubs. I've seen some of his videos. I've never think that most times with streams, the reason I've been gone for so long is,
in the gym.
I just come back and then I just fall asleep and then I wake up and it's like 11 o'clock and the stream's over. And I'm like, damn, all right. And then I have to just watch the replays. So I've missed a lot of the streams.
Well, it's good to see you, man. It's always good to hear your takes. It's like you're getting, you're bulking up, man. You're ready for. You got to be doing. You got to be thinking. You look great. You put on some size.
Thank you.
That's it.
It's nice to see you guys too.
You going to the home opener?
No. Maybe I shouldn't go to games at all. I No, I graduated.
Congratulations.
I thank you. The 3 games I've
Is
gone
this a
to,
new school? Did you go to a different school? Or changing names?
the 3 Jets games I've gone to was Zach Wilson against the Patriots. It was his rookie year where he threw like the 3
Yep.
picks or 4
Me
picks or
too.
so. Then it was the Jaguars game in the rain on Thursday night
Oh,
where
That was
we
brutal.
got the strip sack, and then Zach just instantly got just smashed on that third down, the Strevler game. And then the
Yes.
last game I went to was the Rodgers Achilles game. So
yeah, stay
maybe
home.
I should just stop going to games.
Stay home, stream with us.
I don't think you guys want me going to games. I should just stay home.
Have a good night, man.
All right, you have a nice night.
Good seeing you.
Yeah.
You
That
were so funny.
Jacksonville game was miserable.
Oh, dude, that game pissed me off to no end. We had some rough ones, dude. What's up, Luke?
It was
Hey,
rough.
how are you?
Feeling good. How you doing, man?
Going.
Good, good. This is the first time I've ever called into the show. I've been watching for years, so it's
Oh, welcome
it's
aboard, man. That's awesome. Where you live?
I live in Westchester, New York.
Oh, nice. You go to games and stuff or no?
Not really. I'm still in college,
I hear
and
that.
I play soccer at school, so I don't really have the opportunity to like leave during weekends. I actually miss most of the games. Like the past 3 years, I've missed most of the games. But
Oh, damn. What do? You DVR 'em?
no, I mean usually I like kind of see all the Twitter feedback.
He doesn't even watch the games.
No, I mean I watch most games. Sorry, not most games. I watch every game that I can. But like, yeah, sometimes like I have games like myself, so I won't be able to watch every game. But I do watch the preseason, right? Like I watched the Packers game.
There you go. So, what'd you think about the game?
Yeah, so I think that this season is going to hinge on Tanner Engstrand being the best play caller that he can be. I don't have much confidence based on, and it's one drive, but based on what I saw out of Fields in that one drive, like I don't have much confidence Fields is going to be the quarterback to like make plays on his own unless they're with his legs, like the touchdown. I think that the success of the offense is going to hinge on the play con and scheming guys open, which is what we
Wow.
did.
So you don't have confidence in Justin Fields?
No, like I don't have confidence in Justin Fields being the long-term answer at QB. I think that he can definitely fulfill like a system quarterback role where if we have a good play caller, like we can be successful, and he has the legs to make dynamic plays. But I don't see him being like a full-fledged like guy that you can rely on week in, week out.
Bubs, what do you think about that? You're right. Bubs is writing down notes right now. He's like, oh yeah, I got some shit for you.
No, yeah, I mean, I most likely Fields isn't the long-term answer. I think Engstrand, ideally, he's able to scheme guys open and make it easier for this offense, make it easier for Fields, play to these guys' strengths, whether it's getting the tight ends in space or, we talk about the questionable wide receivers behind Garrett. Like the way to kind of gloss over that is to be able to get them open and give them scheme them open rather. So yeah, I mean, I guess from the Fields perspective, like
This answer is easy, dude. It's probably the best offensive line he's playing.
Yeah.
Probably the best offensive line he's
yeah.
and
had.
if they have
And 3 good running backs.
Yeah, and if they have a top 10 offensive line, I mean, you're going to win games. There's not many top 10 teams with top 10 offensive lines with losing or terrible records.
But say if the requirement is he has to make two big time throws a game and run for 60 yards a week and manage the game, they could win a lot of games that way. Like I don't think he's not going to throw 300 yards. He throws for say like what 180 to 210 each week, runs for 60, and and focus on like that's. I think. Yeah, I guess I'm not completely sold on him either, but I think there's an opportunity where he can win games and they can flourish with him. A lot of things have to happen right, but you're right. Engstrand's got to be on point, but we saw a lot of good things on Saturday already. But I think Fields has an opportunity, man. I think my biggest concern is Mason Taylor being hurt. That's the one that gets me. It's like, shit, that's the safety valve. That's a target that can kind of make a difference for this team.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a rookie and he's a second-round pick.
Yeah,
so Jets second-round picks haven't been,
The times are changing, man. We have a new coach that holds people accountable. Times are changing.
Totally. Yeah, we don't have Salah anymore. Thank God he's gone. Yeah, actually, so I want to pivot a little bit. Do you guys buy the Brees regression? Like, do you guys think that less touches are coming his way this year?
Man, it's weird because we all loved him. He showed so many great things. Then he's been banged up. He's been hurt. And then you just see, to me, Braylon Allen just looks so much different. He's more physical. He looks faster. He's more explosive. He gets more yards.
I'm a huge Wisconsin fan.
Bro, it's like, and I think it was Java made a really good point. You talk about it too, Bubs, you can almost see a world where we're both in the same backfield. Braylon and Brees. Braylon running the ball and Brees catching passes at the back and screen, stuff like that. To me, honestly, I don't think Brees is going to be here next year. So I don't think he gets traded now, but if they do it for the trade deadline, that's fine. Or if he becomes disgruntled, not happy to be here. He said all the right things all throughout training camp so far, but I think he's probably getting jealous where fans just love Braylon Allen now, and rightfully so. Braylon looks great. So hopefully this lights a fire under his ass, man. Supposedly he's healthy. You know, the offensive line is going to have holes, man. So if you can find him, great. If you can't, I don't think Aaron Glenn's going to sit here and be loyal to him. Like, listen, man, we want to win. You know, we got to get yards here. So it's interesting, man. I can't believe we're here with Brees, though. Of all the guys, you thought he'd be the guy that'd be like the star. He's like the last one to kind of flourish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how it is with running backs, I guess, nowadays. Like,
so weird, but he's a very prominent person. Though. He's on social media. He's had like the cryptic tweets and shit like that, which the Jets don't like. I don't know, man. I hope it works out for him, but it's. Hey, Bubs, what do you think? I just don't see it happening. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I probably more higher on Brees than most. I still think if they utilize him properly and get him more opportunities from a pass catching standpoint, like just all around, he's going to be much more productive than what he was under Hackett, Downing, and the previous staff. And you mentioned, I know Tyson and I mentioned that as well, Javid as well, the 2 running back sets, which is a good thing, and they should have did more of that in past years. They haven't, but now you really have that ability with Braylon. Yeah, I mean, I think Glenn, it's truly going to be a committee. I mean, even Glenn, he likes Davis. Davis is kind of that smaller guy with that speed. He's a very good ability to cut up field and make guys miss when he gets into space. So it's not just going to be the Brees show. It's going to be everybody. And I think there is going to be points where they just ride the hot hand. If Brees is struggling, Braylon's going to take over, or even Davis at times. I really think that's the approach. But yeah, it's beginning of Brees' rookie year. It looked like he was in for the rookie of the year, and then he goes down and Garrett took over. It is crazy that we're here at this point with Brees, where if anything, you're looking at a 5th-year option next season, but probably not even that.
Not that price tag. No, I don't think so. It's sad to see, and then it's like you see all these bullshit reports. Oh, Brees is going to be traded. I'm like, I don't believe any of that because there's been not one story leaked by the Jets about the Jets this entire offseason.
Yeah,
literally from like free agency to the draft, nothing's been leaked. Now all of a sudden this story's coming out there. I don't believe any of that, dude, at all. There's no way that's true.
And nor should they. Like, why trade away one of your assets right now? Then all of a sudden you're making yourself one less. Kind of a little bit more thin at the running. It just doesn't make sense to just trade away an offensive asset. And I really believe that he'll be second on this team in targets. I think that's a really good chance of happening with the way they do things in Detroit. You know, we know what Gibbs can do as a pass catcher as well. I think they're going to use Brees a ton. Like, it makes no sense. Deadline, that's a different story. Now, no.
Yeah.
But Luke, thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you guys.
Have a good night. Yeah, the Brees thing's a story that's not going to go away, dude. It's just not. There's no way that's going to go away anytime soon. So now, who better talk about Brees Hall than Brandon, man?
Hello.
You cracked me up with your Cisco joke. I think that was a good one.
Thank you. I almost said, is that the stuff that they grease the poles with in Philly? That I was missing an R.
So what are your thoughts on the Saturday night?
It's so much better. I mean, obviously it's I'm not going to come in here and say like, oh, we're going to win 14 games, Super Bowl, but like night and day. The main point of this call.
You look stressed already. Why do you look stressed right now?
Because there's a lot of thoughts in my mind. I got to get them all out.
Okay.
The main thing that I've taken away is that I feel as though at least there's, like we've said, everyone said, there's a plan. You see the plan, you kind of see what they're going for, you see the kind of culture that they're trying to establish, and that's gonna pay dividends, I think, in the future. And even if we're not gonna necessarily win the division this year, I think that there's a lot of good things to build off with this team. And you saw it just from, I mean, the first thing that caught my eye, I was watching the game and I just saw, is that pre-snap motion? We don't do that. What is that?
Yeah.
It was just like Knight. Even was it Corley or Lazard? It doesn't matter. Someone was running in the backfield, and I think it was Lazard. And it's just night and day. You see that. You see Glenn coaching up people. He's wearing a headset. He's not just standing there.
Yep.
Not just standing there on the sidelines. When players make stupid mistakes, he pulls them to the side. And I mean, it's just, you just see that there's not only a sense of accountability, there's also kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Preparation.
Yeah, just preparation. Exactly.
They looked like they knew what they were doing. Like they came out with a plan that they wanted to follow, and they were following it. But they weren't like, there wasn't any confusion, there wasn't any chaos, especially with the first time staff. Like you expect like all kinds of mistakes because like, it's communication errors, all this. You got to figure it all out. But it seems like they're like a cohesive unit where they're all on the same page, which is refreshing, man. Especially this early on. Like, right, Bubs? Like this early on in camp, you're like, I expected like just some stupid shit to happen, and it didn't really happen minus Michael Clemens nonsense.
But
yeah, I totally agree. And the Clemens is just, I feel like that's just who he is at this point. But it's more so how he handled that situation as opposed to keeping him on the field and not doing anything about it. He took him off and talked to him, and yeah, the preparation in games, they look so much more prepared offensively, defensively, special teams, and we've said this a ton of times as well. Just the way they run these practices, there's such a more of an emphasis on coaching. There's no wasted time. They're efficient practices. They're getting stuff done. It's so much different than, we say it over and over again, but it was a country club under Saleh.
Yep. Well, he was there. Motion Man was there too. Like it's like you saw, like it's a lot more organized now. It's all about competition, and it seemed like the players are all bought in. Like they're all like they're fighting for one another. Like it's just, I think it is like. I think last year was a bunch of individuals. You have Rodgers over here, Devontae Adams, and the Hassan Reddick bullshit, all this other stuff. And now it's like all the drama's gone, all the nonsense is gone. It's just like, just play football. Just be a team, be a good teammate, and win football games. And that's all they're worried about.
I mean, just building off that, I think last year you saw just a lot, like you said, a lot of individuals, but this year you see it comes from the top down. And that's kind of the biggest difference, I think, versus just having like a lot of smaller individual figures like Saleh, like it felt like a committee almost. Instead of like actual leadership coming from an organized head coming down throughout the roster.
It's one voice, one message, and they're all buying into it.
Yeah. Yep. And
so what are you looking forward to this week? Do you think, are you curious about how they perform against the Giants? Do you think they'll play the starters on Saturday?
I don't know. I mean, you got to think I think they end up playing the starters. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I mean, definitely, I'm more of kind of like a take that week off, do week 3. A lot of a lot of NFL teams are like, no, you take week 3 off, whatever. But I mean, the thing I'm looking forward to most is the offensive line, just because they looked so dominant. Like I was watching and I was like, this is going to be like, again, like I said, like just building off for years to come. Like you just say like, okay, this is the offensive line that's just kind of cemented in there and that you can build off of for the next few years. And again, just really year after year kind of slowly coming up the ranks in the league. And with the Giants, and obviously we know that they have one of the best pass rushes in the NFL, and just kind of seeing how that holds up and seeing if obviously, if it was kind of just I don't know if a fluke's the right word, but just seeing how it holds up against some of the top talent in the league.
Well, keep in mind too that Tittman wasn't even playing center; he was playing guard. Mm-hmm. So hopefully Simpson's back soon, where you can see how that impacted that. But the whole Myers playing center thing is getting interesting, man. Because he keeps playing center, then we know. You never know because Glenn keeps saying it's a competition. So he could very well reverse it, had Tittman on center and remove Myers, and he didn't.
I mean, you think I haven't been paying too close attention to like centers during practice. Do you think it's more of a snapping thing or a blocking thing?
What do you think, Bubs? It's a familiarity thing. Like, I mean, Justin Fields has played with him.
Yeah, Tittman snaps have been fine this summer so far. I haven't seen it. Last year those were an issue. Eventually got him ironed out. I mean, Tittman was the better player last year when you just look at the two and the way they graded out and stuff, but it could be the chemistry, like Tyson said, with the Ohio State connection, or it could just be Glenn's just again, trying to maybe light a bit of a fire under Tittman, and they like Myers. I mean, Myers is essentially your sixth man on that interior.
Yeah.
He could play guard, could play center. So if he is the backup, if any of AVT, Simpson, or Tittman go down, he's the next one to slot in. I think it's a little bit of both. I think they obviously like Myers to bring him in, but they also probably are trying to light a little bit of a fire under Tittman. So that's how I think it really is.
I just don't see Tittman not starting week 1. I mean, it's just I think there's just too much not only invested there, but I don't think it's like I don't think he's gonna do that, Glenn, unless a player is significantly underperforming. Like I just don't think like if it's like that close.
I think if Simpson's healthy, your best 5 includes Tittman.
Exactly.
But if Simpson's out, then it's like who's the better guard?
Okay, that's interesting.
Right? Because then it's like who's a better guard, Myers or Tittman? Probably Tittman. Then maybe that's how they're looking at it. I don't know. Because
Tittman's definitely the better center, and he showed that. And Tittman's in line for a big year this year. I mean, it's year 3 now.
But speaking of linemen, look at AVT was a beast too on freaking Saturday.
I mean, that right side was excellent.
He was so good. I forgot he was even on the team. I was like, who's our right guard again?
Yeah. That's when it's a good thing. When you're not talking about offensive line, that's when it's a positive.
So wait, we can't talk playoffs yet, man. It's week 1 of preseason. We've got to wait. Let's get through the preseason. Let's make sure we stay healthy, and let's make sure this team keeps coming along. So, Motion Man, you're leaving this evening a happy Jet fan. You're encouraged. You're feeling good about things.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of questions to be ironed out with the offense, but I mean, in terms of just the overall direction of the team, I think that there's a lot of good there, and that I'm confident in the future of the Jets for the first time. I don't know how long. I mean, I know I say that, but like not like being legitimate, like not just like, oh, we're gonna win the Super Bowl. We have like the first time in a while. I think that not only do I have confidence, but it's based on evidence in a sense.
That's probably his best comment he's made so far, as long as I've known him.
What is this? It's year 4 of Random Man contract year.
Another one. Brees Jr. over here. No. Have a good night, man.
Yeah.
Later.
I'll just add something on the Membu thing, because him and AVT were excellent, but obviously has a good opportunity coming up with this Giants pass rush. But even against the Packers, that was that starting Packers defensive lineman, and the one rep he had, he completely dominated Kenny Clark. They sent the stunt. Kenny Clark's a veteran. I think he's made the Pro Bowl 3 times, and then even Lucas Van Ness as well was held down by those guys. So they had a good test against Green Bay. They held their own. Now, it's also another good opportunity. But it's great that they're going up against these guys, especially Membu, a rookie, Will McDonald every day, Packers D-line, and now, everything that the Giants can throw at you.
Yeah, 2 days of the Giants is invaluable, dude. That defensive front is nasty. And even Olu, too. We don't even talk about Olu. It's not like he has a ton of experience either. You only started a limited amount of games last year. He's still trying to find his way, especially in the new offense as well. So it's not like they're going to learn plenty this week, and it's great. And it's also good for Steve Hyden, too. So he can, his scheme's going to get tested. So is Angstrom. He can start figuring out how to make my adjustments. It's going to be really interesting, man.
Yeah, these are very, very important couple days.
What's up, man?
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
It was an interesting game. I'll tell you, there was a lot of things about this, and you've covered so much of it. I'm not going to go too much into detail with the players and stuff. I was really happy. It is the preparation, and they went into this looking at this as a game. This is the first time I've seen the Jets preseason game where they went in and it looked like a game, and it looked like that from the beginning to the end.
Yep.
It used to be you get to halftime and you get into what my son would call the amorphous blob on the field. It's all the guys trying to make it and stuff, which it's legitimate. They want to check them out, but it didn't look like that. I was happy looking at the backup O-linemen. They were playing really well. They were playing together. I understand they were playing against scrubs on the Green Bay side, the second and third team guys, but it didn't matter. They were playing, they were all there and they were buying into it. And that's something, because we know we're going to have injuries on the offensive line. We know things are going to happen. And it looks like they're really building a next man up. And that's really awesome too. And it's not based on one guy's skill set. The other thing that came out of this is you see the advantage of coaching. I'm going to be honest. I know people like beating up on Saleh, and I really hate doing it. But I'm really looking at this and saying, how the hell did Saleh ever become a coach? Because so much of this stuff is basic.
It's fundamental.
Anybody that's ever played high school football, anybody that's ever played in any kind of organized football or sports or coached it, you're seeing the things there. And it's like it wasn't there. It wasn't there. It's glaringly obvious it wasn't there. Everybody's bought into it. The preparation, the intensity, everything is there. One of the things people were talking about with the penalties, I wasn't happy, but I mean, Clemens was an idiot. I don't care. Oh, he was baited into it. You get baited into it, you're a moron. Players do that all the time to try to get you to react because they know
especially with him. Especially
with the second guy. The refs go after the second guy. You don't do that. You make them, you get them in trouble. You don't get in trouble yourself. And the two guys with the out of bounds penalties, those were ridiculous. But on the other hand, it was over aggression. I think that they were more like they were just being overly aggressive.
Well, I think Watts was close, though. Watts was close to the sideline. McCrary ball was just ridiculous.
That was bad. But I could blame it on that. And again, the fact that Glenn went after them, that he yelled at them, he did not let him go. And that's the thing you've got to do. I've mentioned before, I love going to Army football games. I love watching Jeff Monken coach them because this is exactly what he does. And the thing about Glenn is he's not stopping. He doesn't stop and say, okay, you're playing at your potential. You're fine. This is the biggest thing I'm seeing here. He's coaching players up. He's getting them playing better than they were. Whatchamacallit, Sauce Gardner went up to another step. He's been a great coverage guy. I've loved him all along. And I think honestly, last year he just got disgusted personally. I think with everything going on there. Sauce, and I was watching him last night, the intensity, he was all over the place. He was doing some tackling. He was aggressive. This is coming from coaching. And the other thing I noticed about Sauce that was awesome, I don't know if you guys picked up a couple of times on the sideline. One was with Arian Smith. I'm trying to remember who the other person, Arian Smith had done something, either missed a play or something happened. He came over and Sauce was talking to him. I assume about coverage and how to handle it, how to get around and stuff. He was trying to coach him up, which is like, that's awesome because that shows that the players have bought in too.
But it's also that standard we talked about, though. They have that physical standard. And you made an excellent point, dude. They treat it like a game. Salah poo-pooed it like, oh, it's a preseason game. We're not going to play our starters. He kind of like, he treated it like it was just like, no big deal. And Glenn's like, it's a game. We keep score. We want to win the game. We want to compete. He preached competition in practice. That's all he preaches. You don't meddle in a game. And the players are all buying into it. And they're like rallying around the younger players too, which is refreshing. Like Sauce was fully invested. You saw the players, like when the guys came off, they're all getting coached, which is a phenomenon right there. So it's just a different level of coaching, man. And the thing about Salah, and you don't want to dump on Salah, I'll dump on Salah. The one thing I kept hearing over and over last year was how many analysts would watch the game tape and be like, what in the fuck are the Jets doing? These schemes make no goddamn sense. There's no communication. It was just gross negligence. And Rodgers didn't do anything about it. He was like, well, it's just, it's what it is. And now you're seeing when you have a scheme, you have a blueprint, you have a team, a staff that's attention to detail where they're not going to accept half-ass performances, you're going to get better results.
I'll hand one thing. I'll hand a big thing to Glenn. The moment that he told Rodgers to get lost.
Yep.
He earned my lot of me because this is the thing. That's the thing. Everybody, well, you're blaming him for everything. I said, no. His play, I don't think his play was that good, and I think his statistics were skewed. But the point is, it was that we were sold on. He sold himself as being the great guru. He was going to take care of all the defects in the coaching. He was going to make sure they didn't fall off. He was going to make sure that if there was a fourth down, they weren't punting the ball or whatever the hell it was. He didn't do it.
Nope.
And he sensed it.
But Glenn backed it up, though. He got rid of Rodgers, which was very controversial. A lot of fans are pissed off about it. But he backed it up with, I have a blueprint. I have a program that I want to do. And he brought in players that match his mindset. Love or hate Justin Fields. Fields matches his mindset.
Yep.
Quiet, hardworking, blue-collar kind of guy. Right, Bubs? That's the kind of he matches, not saying it's going to work out, but Rodgers will be a distraction. And a variety of other things, too. So now you find it, and Glenn's big about compatibility. He talked about it with his coaching staff. It may not be the best coaches, but the coaches that work best together. Same thing way they're building this team. It's the best players for our organization at this time period.
And you see it. I mean, the players, again, the coaches are working there. And you can tell that Glenn, I can tell you he's holding coaches accountable. I saw things at practice. Somebody screwed up. A player screwed up royally, a penalty, something like that. He didn't just have the player there. He had the coach there. And you knew he was not being, that's okay. We can get at it tomorrow. No, he was on him. And this, it's this whole attitude. It's so totally different. And then it translated on the field that made it so different for me. And honestly, what I really loved about it, it was entertaining. It was fun to watch.
It was fun to watch.
And it's not so much that they were winning. They could have lost that game. And I don't know if I would have minded as much because it was fun. I mean, it was fun watching Glenn coach on the sideline. It's fun watching him get mad when somebody makes a mistake. because it's such a refreshing change, and the intensity and just the energy comes off of it. Now, again, it's the first preseason game, but the nice part is we're still a month away from the season.
Yeah, but the other thing too is that Bubs. One thing I noticed, I like in the press conferences when they ask him about certain plays, offense or defense, he can go in detail and talk about it. Like he can be like, oh, this play for Aaron Smith was off by this. We called the right play. He broke down Justin Fields. We had the check down. Like he knew every facet of the game plan, so he can intelligently answer it. As opposed to Saleh was like, well, we got to watch the tape and this and that. He sold this bullshit. Like Glenn's involved, dude. Like he knows. Like he has a pulse of everything. Which there's no more scapegoats. There's no more excuses. Like listen, good or bad, he's gonna own it.
Well, there's something even better than that, though. You noticed it when he went to his press conference, and they won the game, right? And they beat Green Bay up. I mean, Green Bay. It was nice for once to watch the other team be a sloppy mess, and they were.
They were.
And you know what? But he went into there and he said, "Yes, we won the game." And he said there were some good plays and stuff. He said, "Well, we got work to do." He wasn't Saleh cheerleader. Oh, it was so great! Look, we won the game, and look at this, and look at this. He said, "We got things to do. Those penalties were unacceptable. We had things we did wrong. Things happened, and you know what? That's beautiful because you always want to get better. You don't want to keep it." And this is again Saleh's philosophy. I figured out his philosophy on coaching. There was a book written several years ago, a sports book called "Coaching is Overrated." It was the most asinine book. I think that's what it was called. And that was a theme of it. And the idea was exactly what Saleh used to spout, that you get players that are really good. They play at their level because they want to play at their level. And it's a crock of bullshit. Coaching does matter. It really does. And I think that this is the biggest change there, that he's doing this. One thing I want to see now, though, so we had this good preseason, and, it's nice to feel this. Can they also maintain consistency? I would like to see him play the starters against the Giants. I know it's risky. You don't want to get people hurt. I understand all that. I understand they have the joint practices, and I'm not going to question them at this point. They're doing a good job coaching. But there's a reason for it, because you know what? I want to see consistency. What do we see in that game? Do the Jets come out that game next week, Saturday, and do they come out the same way they came out this one?
Well, there's a good question, because now they did all this hard work, but now they're getting accolades. Now they're getting compliments. Now everybody's starting to buy in. Like now, like the fans, social media is like a big love fest for the Jets. Now, how do you handle success now? Because like adversity is like they've had a chip on their shoulder the whole time, where everybody's discounting us, nobody likes us, everything's we're gonna suck. Now fans are like, we like this team now. How do they handle that? Do they? They
fall, and I don't think he's going to let them fall off. Honestly, he knows too much as a player, because that's been a Jets MO for a lot of years. It goes well beyond Saleh. How many times do we have these damn Jets teams where they come in and they play like a big team, right? So they play a really good team and they beat them, and then the next week they're playing Jacksonville and they look like a total shit show. This is the thing, and I think he's going to hold them to that. That's the biggest hope. I think that the consistency, because that's the other thing, you need consistency and also always getting better. And he can tell that Glenn wants that. He's not sitting on the laurels. He's not sitting there saying, we had a great this is great. We had a great week of practice. What does a great week of practice mean? Not a damn thing until you put it on the field on Sunday. And I think that's going to be the thing. Predicting the future, I'm not going to do it. I think there's good reason to believe they're not going to be these idiots that are going around saying the Jets are only going to win 3 games. We don't have a good quarterback. We don't have a good defensive line. Well, guess what? The defensive line, we've got players stepping up, which is going to be a Glenn MO. Who the hell ever thought that these guys?
It's also year one too, though, dude. It's like it's year one. They inherited a roster, right, Bubs? You inherited a roster. You got to find out what you have, kind of tinker with it, add pieces, kind of cultivate it a little bit. It's going to take time. But
you got Cowart and that guy Tufoli, whatever his name is. I mean, they were playing now. Again, it's a preseason game. Taylor looked good too, but they were playing above their expected level. And if they can keep doing that, then I'm not worried about the fact that we didn't draft in the first round. We didn't draft in the second round a defensive tackle from some school, because you know what? Saleh would do that because he needed that, because his scheme depended on that guy playing really well without much coaching. And that's kind of insane. And I think they're also going to be able to make adjustments. But what I saw this team was, you're going to see resiliency, because again, watching when the backups came in and what happened, they didn't really lose a beat. And that's a big thing. And I think there's room for optimism. And that's all. I'm going to let somebody else have a rant tonight.
Well, great call, man. Thanks for calling. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Sorry, Bubs. I had a question for you. When you see this comment, do you feel like you have arrived when Hairless Elmo starts making comments? This is probably your defining moment right now, is it?
Yeah. The receipts.
Which one's more important, you Oscar the Grouch or Hairless Elmo?
Probably Oscar. I feel like's in the chat more. Definitely.
Yeah, Oscar is
I feel like
definitely
he's more
more.
consistent.
Yeah, he's definitely more consistent.
Yeah.
Helix
And you
Elmo
also
is
have
just,
regular Elmo.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
Both of
never
them.
know what to expect with our Muppets.
Yeah.
And there's been no Big Birds yet, so it's not. We're not
Yeah.
in regular season 4.
Not-
No Big Bird yet. That'll
come.
He
But
comes.
yeah, just one thing I wanted to just add on what he was saying. Just being prepared for the game, treating like a game. Glenn talking about all 3 phases. It's just I've mentioned this a couple times in previous shows, but even being at the practices, just seeing him walk around. 1 minute he's with the offensive line, he's with the corners, he's with the offense, with the defense, he's all over the place. And even we just say it all the time, but the emphasis on coaching, and I've said this a couple times where they're going through the walkthrough special teams drills at practice, and one little thing is off, Banjo's there, very vocal, teaching them, coaching them up, like everybody, not just Glenn, but all of them. Angstrand, it's so much different from last year where it really was just a bunch of kind of individuals doing their own thing and not real any structure, no coaching. That's totally opposite from what we've seen, the first month of camp and preseason.
Well, it seemed like Saleh would had a lot of faith in the players to do the right thing. Like, I assume you're doing your film study. I assume you're doing your weight, like all your gym work and your weight work. Also, where Glenn removes that, I assume he's like, no, we're going to do it this way. I'm making sure you're doing it. Like, it's just a different. It's just Saleh's practices would drive me crazy.
Yeah,
some of the things you used out, dude. I was just doing it.
And Saleh always talked about too, just how the best locker rooms are player led. It was a lot of players, so they were running the show. He was kind of just stepped back and did his own thing, and that's clearly failed, blew up. But something that obviously Glenn is totally different from that perspective. And even too, like going down to the penalties and learning from it. Saleh was always had the notion of not having to tell them, not having to yell at them. They're grown-ups that know when they make a mistake and know how to correct it, but that's not the case. They need to be coached up. They need to be taught. They need to be held accountable. Clearly wasn't the case, but and that's totally different from what we've seen from Glenn, of course.
This is a great point by Afram too. It's sad that we're so happy to see coaching when this should be the standard. We should be used to good coaching. We talked about good coaching. We never saw it.
No.
It's pathetic. All right. Somehow we did an hour and a half, but we have to bring up our cleanup hitter of the evening, who you had the Raiders Seahawks game. You had, How'd you feel seeing Pete Carroll, man? Did it make you feel sad?
I felt happy. Excuse me.
You're right.
I felt happy seeing him happy. Back on the field, coach. That's how I felt.
You like seeing Jamal Adams, didn't you?
No, I did not.
I'm gonna buy you a Jamal Adams Raider jersey.
Of course you are.
What'd you think about Gino flipping off your fans?
I didn't.
He deserved it.
I didn't mind it. That guy's an idiot. And
Who Gino is? Gino was good to you guys.
No. The fan.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
The fan. That guy's always an idiot.
But see, now, Bubs, you can learn from Jose. Jose comes on. He has sports talk with Jose Rodriguez. Now I know where his channel is. What's yours? Yours is Bubs.
Yeah.
I put it in the description, though. I do put it in the description, but you got to market yourself, man.
Yeah.
Jose is always marketing.
Always.
You do a good job with it, man.
Thank
You're
you.
better. You're better than I am. 'Cause I don't do it either. So I don't do it.
I do my best.
How you feeling?
Good.
Yeah.
Happy.
Happy and healthy.
Yeah. Ready for real for Rodgers again.
So, how do you think Bubs is doing? How do you think Bubs is doing? Is he passing the test so far?
Yes.
You no criticisms?
No. I accepted the internet.
Yeah, I was just about to say, except the bad internet in the beginning.
Especially the start of the show, the most important part of the show. He's glitching all over the place.
I still miss.
That's some Malachi Corley shit right there.
I still miss PT. No offense. No offense, but
Well, PT would be in the dark. He'd be in the dark. It'd be all kinds of. You could barely even see him.
That's
At least,
true.
at least we could see Bubs.
At least Buzz knows how to turn on his light.
Yeah, he's got fancy lights, no less, too. He's got the big signs and stuff.
I need to make one of those.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody's all fancy, man.
Maybe for my birthday,
We'll make you one. How do you want? You want to have a sports talk with Jose Rodriguez?
Yeah.
We'll have to work on this. We'll have to give him a sign,
Yes,
Bub.
please.
But we'll do it in Jets colors, though. We'll do it in green and white. Can
That's fine. That's fine.
you imagine? Put little Jet stickers on it.
Yeah.
How was
That'd be funny.
the concert?
Phenomenal, dude. Lincoln Park was incredible. They were awesome. Definitely, the new singer's great. Excellent energy. The crowd was sold out. It was I had a blast.
I love Lincoln Park.
They're really good, dude. The energy in it's awesome, man. They're a must see.
It starts with what I don't know what even matter. I try. Keep that alive. I'm not even gonna try to sing the rest.
Well, Jose, we're gonna get out of here because I'm tired.
All right, guys.
I haven't eaten dinner yet.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, man. Love you, man.
Love you guys too.
It's funny. I was watching the Raiders Seahawks. I thought of him immediately.
Yeah, when the bird. Yeah, that was, and it looked like Pete Carroll too tried to steal the sign or something.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That picture was wild. The one with Gino giving him the bird. That was
a great picture, though.
Yeah,
I love
it is.
Gino's got the great attitude. He's a perfect Raider. The perfect attitude to be a Raider.
Yeah, I'm surprised the fan would do that. I mean, he was excellent there, and then obviously Pete Carroll as well. But
he'd be a hero here if he played like that. He was a Pro Bowl quarterback. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. If Fields did that, he wouldn't have to buy another drink around here again.
Oh my! Can you imagine? He's already people love him now for one friggin' touchdown run.
One touchdown drive, 179-yard drive.
All right, so tomorrow you're going to practice. Where can everybody follow you? Because we want training camp reports, man.
Yeah, I'll be just YouTube Bubs on Sports. I'll have my recap up on there. Twitter at Bubs52, and then write articles for the Jet Press. So I believe I'll have one up tomorrow morning on Membu and his debut. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, YouTube page will have my full recap tomorrow. So that'll be.
You better be tweeting out some stuff. I want to see some tweets.
Yes, I will. I'll be. I think offense is usually front row, and then defense is usually on the far field. So
it usually is, yeah.
We'll see kind of how much I'm able to see of the defense, but I'll definitely see a lot of offense and defense because they split them up. But hopefully, I think should be a lot of reps tomorrow. I mean, Glenn's been up in the reps and in joint practice as well, and day one's always a little more. Day two is kind of interesting, like you said. So it'll be, but the joint practice are always a lot of fun.
Depends on how the teams act. Day two could never know day two, or they really scale it back. It's like less intensity and like it's you never know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We definitely appreciate it. Make sure you follow Bubs tomorrow. Be tweeting all kinds of stuff. Jets Giants Saturday night, which will be interesting. So another big week ahead. Hopefully build on it. And next Monday we can talk about more exciting stuff. They have back-to-back good performances, dude. We're gonna be unbearable. I'm telling you right now.
2-0 preseason.
We'll talk to you guys later on.
Jet!